So let's see where we're at on down the line. Look at some takeaway and some playing.
Okay.
And I want to get into some kind of some creativity shots, some stuff that we want to work on from there.
Perfect.
Let's just start with 7-iron.
Okay.
Let's use that white flag in the distance as kind of our target line for now.
Perfect. Just stock shots, just the normal.
Yeah, stock shots. We're just going to check that takeaway that we've been working on a lot.
Okay. Nice and wide.
All right, let's go one more. How'd you hit that one?
That was pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yeah, that was exactly what I wanted there.
We like that.
Left to right cut.
So as you hit that shot, is there any swing thought or feel that goes with that?
That one was pretty, just keep it wide on the backswing.
Right.
But then I really stayed level. I think the first one was almost, I was tilting back, right? And that's kind of what I do when I hit my cut, when it's bad, when I miss it farther right, is everything's tilting back.
Right.
So the second one, I kind of just wanted to stay a little more level, exactly, right over the ball.
So why don't we do two things? Let's reaffirm that idea of staying level.
Okay.
So we've talked about in the past where if you slide and tilt, that changes the path a little bit, makes it go a little more right, doesn't get on your start lines very well. So let's start with just a simple feet together drill. And focal point, just staying level and just rotating in that spot. Now I know we're not going to fade off of that drill, but the goal for you is, again, feeling that level. Let's do it one more time.
Okay.
Nice. Let's go regular stance then. Now, how do you interpret that idea of staying level? Is it strictly head? Is it shoulders?
I think it's head for me.
Okay.
Because I think even though it's my shoulders moving back, like my head, I want to stay exactly where I started over the ball.
Okay, great.
So yeah.
So if we work in this plane, right?
So am I just thinking head? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. How'd that one feel?
That's pretty good.
Awesome. Yeah, so that's so important because we know that the more you tilt, the more you have to then bring your hands into the equation over release, which we don't want. Another thing that goes with that is rotation, right? So if we keep this in a good shape and we keep this from tilting too much, then we have to rotate, right? So let's do, along the same lines, let's do a left foot back drill here. And I really want you to feel like you're clearing out, but also staying over the ball, right?
Okay.
So left foot's back, boom. It's gonna help you clear out that left hip a little bit more instead of tilting.
Okay. Still reaching down though this way, right?
Yeah, we're still extending down for
left.
sure. The ball's gonna go left. It's gonna change your path to the left a little bit more, but we're staying level, but we're rotating through the shot. Nice. Great. Yeah, so I can see that front view is that you cleared out really nicely here without it bumping, right? So the more that you bump past this, the more you tilt. The more you tilt, the more you have to use your hands.
I mean, it's so much nicer how my right foot, because you know my right foot normally goes up. That one felt like I stayed down a little better.
Wonderful.
Through that, like the right knee going this way.
Great. So go back to regular stance with that feel though, right?
Okay.
Having that instep, having that knee now cover this way more.
Okay.
Okay, so give me some feedback on that one.
Still felt
a little tilty?
Yeah, like exactly.
Okay.
Because I was focused on doing this, that I think I did the lower body, but I just didn't stay the upper body. I went back this way.
Right, right. We still have to rotate it around as you come through there. Okay, that looked clean.
A little heavy.
Right. But from a rotational standpoint, it was better, right? So this was this way instead of instead of that way. Now, as you start moving balls, because you're great with the irons and being able to move it a little bit both ways, it really shouldn't change our basic fundamentals of staying level, staying rotating, coming through. So if you're going to go to that white flag and hit your stock little fade, okay, I want you to see that picture of it, and you're very much into feeling that picture, right? So how do you blend that creativity with this idea of staying level?
I think for me it's just feeling the shot.
Okay.
And I think that's why I can feel the cut really easily, is because when I take my practice swings, I can see the shot. You know, if we had a shot tracer on it, I could see the cut right now and I can feel it. And I think sometimes, you know, when I hit a straight shot, I sometimes don't see it to the end. For the fade, you have to see it move all the way, and I think that's why I hit those shots really good, because I can see the ball like that.
Right.
You know, and I think even for a draw, even though I don't play it as much, I can still see it go all the way down, and that's for me visualizing it all the way down to the target.
Okay. So let's put it together though. Okay, let's go back from out here, get your clear picture.
Okay.
And in the practice swing, you're feeling it though, aren't you?
Exactly, yeah. It's not a full swing, but it's like as if the ball took off and then we had a shot tracer all the way down to the target.
Okay, great. So let's put those two things together. And what's one swing thought that you want to achieve on this?
Are we hitting a cut?
Yes.
I think swing thought is for me just to finish higher.
Okay.
Just, if we're going to hit a basic little cut, start at that little left bunker right here and feed it back to the white flag.
Sounds good. So you saw the shot, you felt it now, and we have a clear intention of what we want to do here.
Exactly.
So I know you and I bounce around with having a clear intention as much as possible, right? We have to have a plan going into it, yet there are times we have to work on the golf swing, right? It's now matching those two. So right now, because we're working on staying level and rotating, you can still rotate and hit a great fade, can't you?
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
So we can have the technical side come in as long as we're clear on what the intention is, right? Let's do one more with that intention. How'd that one feel?
That was really good. Overcut a couple yards, but felt really good.
So now if we go from a feeling standpoint, how do you articulate the feel of that shot?
Yeah, no, I think I still didn't rotate as well as I wanted to.
Interesting.
I still, because I felt higher, but I didn't clear out as much as I would want, like when we did the left foot back.
Sure.
Like the feeling of left foot back felt different than every other swing.
Okay, let's do one more of those then. Target line stays the same. The intention is left foot's back. Feel that rotation coming through. Sounded solid.
Yeah, that one was great.
Right.
So
a lot of it is, certainly we talk about your upper body as far as not tilting, but a lot of that is related to what the lower body is doing. Okay. And I thought that it did a good job of getting that left hip out of the way sooner without letting it float to the left.
Yeah.
So there's been times when you do want to cut a ball, but then it becomes over-cutty because now you have everything going this way.
Now we're using more arms and everything
of around.
out.
Yeah, and so I still like that rotation there. Let's go back.
I'm almost aiming for a cut anyway when my left foot's back.
Right. But you trust that it's already cleared out.
Right.
And then you don't have to manipulate some of those other things. So regular stance with that.
Just a little cut.
Correct. Okay. But with the feeling as if that left foot was back, right?
Yeah.
So again, you cleared out of the way. Didn't cut as much as you want, but I'm looking at, again, the ability for this to just rotate through without it getting this way.
All right.
So that leads kind of to when we're looking at, you've now been on tour for over a year and a half and being able to look at some different shots. So talk to me through, if you're in between clubs with this, what are some of the things that you've done to help take off 5 yards or change trajectories and stuff?
Like if I'm taking off yardage and I go with the bigger club, I normally hit just a little softer cut.
Sure.
So I'll choke down maybe a little bit, try and get the ball up and just have it spin a little more, get the cut, and land it softer. But then if I'm taking the shorter club and I'm trying to get it there, I'll hit this trap shot. You know, JJ and I, my caddy, like we're always thinking trap. So we're always, you know, it's almost a little back of the stance, but it's almost like a punch shot.
Okay.
Like it's a hard, really flat ball flight that you know will skip back there to maybe a back pin that you need, and you take the shorter club to be smarter about it.
And I think that's what we've all learned, is that, you know, some of these whole locations on tour are tight.
Yeah,
There are some pretty interesting situations. For you to be able to get into that is a skill. So we're gonna hit 3 shots with this same club, okay? Let's start with taking something off with a little cut.
Okay.
Then we'll go stock, and then we'll go trap.
Perfect. Just choke down.
So you certainly grip down a little bit to take some length of swing away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything else that you did to take some yardage off?
Not really. I mean, might have slowed the finish, not, you know, as aggressive through it as a full swing. But it's the same thing. It's back to feel. Like it's feeling a smoother, kind of high cut ball flight.
Right. And we know your release position is going to change a little bit.
Right.
Type of thing. Okay, let's go stock shot. Okay, good rotation through that one. That was nice. Okay, now show me the trap, because I think that's something that you've developed in the last couple years to be able to, when you think trap, what are you thinking about? Is it just hand position? Is there a little bit of setup stuff?
A little bit. I mean, I move it maybe a half a ball to a ball back.
Right.
But then for me, it's just staying down, you know, thinking the half a second longer down the line. So it's not necessarily a stinger, because we're not trying to keep it super low. Right. But we're trying to either hold it, you know, from if it's blowing off the right or blowing off the left, trying to keep it a straighter ball flight, because most of the time that's going to not move as much. Or if we're just trying to get a couple extra yards, you know, it'll turn into a trap draw. And, you know, we're trying to really shut down the face from a, you know, a 7-iron to a 6-iron almost.
Right. So in this particular case, a trap is going to go a little bit further than stock shot. Right. And you plan for that, and you also plan for the trajectory and how that's going to come in to a green, correct?
Yeah, and it might not necessarily fly a lot farther, but it'll take, you know, the angle of descent, the angle that it's landing in will kind of come in and probably skip with some firm greens.
Exactly. All right, so show me the trap. So definitely a little bit lower, right? And we've talked a lot about, you know, through the years of punch shots and feeling like you stay down the line a little bit longer, and I think that helps. You have always had an unbelievable impact position with the wrist anyways, and to be able to feel like it stays there just a little bit longer, it helps you with that.
Yeah, and like it's weird with the trap shot, I'm not thinking as much finish. I'm thinking more through impact.
Exactly.
How do I get from here and keep this angle that I started with to just stay there?
Exactly.
And I think with the other shots, I'm thinking more up here and let everything do the work back here.
Sure.
But that one I almost think more around impact, you know, from hip to hip.
And I think something we've talked about certainly with JJ also is sometimes having more choices is not always best.
Right, exactly.
So you're really, really talented to where you can hit this shot 3 or 4 or 5 different ways, but ultimately you have to commit to the golf shot, right? And I think you guys have done a great job preparing for shots, making sure you have all your numbers, but ultimately it comes to you. How have you made decisions on the golf course? Because you can hit all 3 shots to the same spot.
Yeah.
How do you go about making that committed decision?
Well, I think you have to think about what's around the green, you know, where the pin is it front, is it middle, is it back, left or right? You know, 80% of the time I'm hitting that cut. Right. And that's a shot that coming down the stretch, I know I can hit, so I'm always going to revert to that. But sometimes, you know, if there's water left, I'm not going to want to start it in the water. I'm going to have to hit a more neutral ball flight, so I'm going to have to start it out right. Sure. So, you know, it's all about just looking at what's around the green. Okay. And even if sometimes the best shot might be a straight neutral shot. If I don't feel comfortable with it, I'll tell JJ that I just don't want to hit that shot, and he's okay with that, because sometimes you're better off 25, 30 feet than trying to get, you know, to 15, 10 feet, knowing that what your miss might be is a wider angle or a wider dispersion.
Right.
And I think that's just what I do now. I play my misses. You know, you got to know what your misses are. So when I hit that cut, I know my miss is going to be right. If I tilt a little bit, you know, we're going to peel it off a little short right.
Exactly.
And if I know it's going to be, you know, an easy chip shot, why not play that?
Okay, great. So irons look great. We always have that blend of the fundamentals, which we want to stay level and rotate over the ball. I'd like to work a little bit on a shot that I know we've been developing, which is tee shots, draw on the ball, right?
Perfect.
Okay, so preference is to fade it, right? But see, yeah, it's your favorite, right? That's our attitude first, right?
Exactly.
So we know there's been certain holes that may not set up to you eye-wise, but we know there's strategy to be able to do that. If we're going to draw a ball right now, would you prefer to draw a 3-wood or a driver?
3-wood.
3-wood.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I've done it all the time now.
Okay, so let's start with that.
Perfect. Off the tee,
yeah. Let's go. We're gonna tee shot. Longish par 4 or shortish par 5, where there's definitely a dog leg. We might even have wind come from the left, right, which makes that fade even more challenging to do. And throughout the years, you know, we're certainly a big advocate for you to create golf shots, but it doesn't mean we have to change a lot, does it?
No.
So as you now pick a target out there and see that ball move left, what is your preference? Because we've talked about follow through and where we want the shaft to be. What's your preference here to hit a little draw?
Yeah, I mean, I think like we've always practiced, I set up just slightly right of the target, have the, you know, the club just right around the target line. But then I like to think lower. You know, finish is huge for me. Other than that trap shot, a lot has to do with where I'm going to finish.
Great.
So I think it's just finishing slightly lower. We have a longer club, balls teed up. And it's not like we're looking for a hook, right?
No.
We're looking for a soft
a little
draw.
bit right to left.
So, you know, I think it's very doable.
So we can still see that shot, right?
Yep. See it all the way finished, kind of start it within that green and bring it back to the white. Yeah, just like that.
Good shot. It's easy as that, right?
Yeah.
But you had clarity on where you wanted to start it and where you wanted to finish it.
Yeah.
And there might be a slight setup change, but we've always talked about, you know, where that release and follow through is going to dictate a lot of how that club face is going to come through. That was excellent. Let's do it again.
And it's not much, especially with the ball going that far. It's not like I've got to try and move it that much. And I think that's why, you know, the 3-wood's very playable. When I've got a dogleg left or wind's off the left and I've got to hold it up. Oh, no.
So what'd you feel there?
Back to that tilt, first, you know, the first swing.
So
didn't stay level over. And
unfortunately, the tilt makes the path go that way more, but we didn't have the club face enough to make up for it. Okay, let's do it again. See the shot again.
Level, finish a little lower.
Okay, so so we definitely got that club a little bit below kind of the ear line. Helps you release it a little bit more. All right, last one, driver.
Perfect.
We're gonna draw that, okay?
Easy stuff.
That's right. What's a shot maybe we're thinking about that we need driver with the draw?
I mean, I think it's the same thing, you know. I can't always hit 3-wood. You know, holes are getting longer. Sometimes you got to carry it. Sometimes you got a lot of wind off your left. And, you know, 3-wood, if that brings more trouble into play, you're going to have to hit driver sometimes. It definitely helps to get it out there. And I think it's the same swing thought. You know, it's not much different than what I did with a 3-wood.
Okay. So see that shot? Feel it.
It's like a 1 yard draw.
So it's a draw. We were successful.
Straight, bounce left.
All right, one more time. Let's make some more movement on it, okay? How much do you want this to draw?
Roughly 12 yards.
Okay.
I mean, I think just pretty equal. You know, if I can get the shot shape of where I have the same draw as my fade.
Oh,
right?
okay,
So
I like that.
You know, my fade, I can aim left side of the fairway, and I know it's going to come back to the middle. If I can have that same thing with the driver, I think, you know, we could play any course, or, you know, be comfortable over any tee.
Sure. Sounds good. Commit to the shot. Good looking shot there. Easy game.
Yeah, just like that.
Awesome. So again, what I want you to keep working on though is, from a fundamental standpoint, is keeping our level, but that's also keeping our center, right? We want to minimize the tilt that happens. We did left foot back drill, we did feet together drill to help that rotation. Mm-hmm. As we look at shots that we want to put as menu options for you, you already do a great job with the irons. I think with 3-wood and driver, for us to develop that little draw as a shot you can go to when you need it, I think is going to be crucial. But that looked great, and I think we're ready to go.
Awesome. Can't wait.
All right.
Hit more draws.
That's right.